All right, everybody. I want to welcome you to Boost Biz Ed San Diego. Thank you for coming. We have a very special presentation today. I'm really, really excited. Devi is my podcast mentor. You are going to love what you hear today. But the first thing that I want everybody to do is to make sure that they are on the wireless connection. We are here at Spaces in La Jolla, UTC, and this is an interactive event. We are live, and we are also on Facebook Live, so take a second and just make sure that you are logged into the internet. All right, and once you are logged in, go to boostbized.com/I am here. And for all of you on Facebook Live, you can do that as well. Go to boostbized.com/I am here. And while we're doing that, I want to welcome everybody here today. And we have a quick video commercial to show the event that we are here for today. Go ahead, Cornelius.
Are you looking for a business networking event where you can learn more, connect better, and have your business be seen and heard by many? Are you ready to learn how you can take action today in order to improve your business? If so, then join the next Boost Biz Ed San Diego event, which takes place at 11:30 a.m. on the third Thursday of each month at Spaces in La Jolla, UTC. Our event on July 19th features Devi Adea, the spiritual entrepreneur. Devi will be presenting on how to podcast on purpose, and you, as our guest, will learn how to create your podcast, grow your show, and even find new guests. Plus, you will discover how you can monetize your podcast to skyrocket your business. Get ready to learn and get ready for your business to be seen via our live stream that takes place during the event. Tickets are available at boostbized.com or by visiting the events page at consciousbusinesschamber.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Again, we are at Boost Biz Ed San Diego, and we do have a few allies to thank here today. This is the beautiful Spaces co-working space in La Jolla, UTC. They are one of our allies. Just so you know, if anybody wants coffee or water, you can do so right back there. And the bathrooms are upstairs and to the left when you exit or get off of the staircase. We have a wonderful ally in the back, Mr. Cornelius Simon. He's a live streaming video pro. You can't see him because he's behind the camera, but he will be up here later to give his offer. The lovely Joanne Chen is our coordinator today. You will be seeing her on camera very soon as well. My name is Sarah Ann Dordell. I am your MC, and you will be meeting our lovely speaker very, very soon. But we'll get to that. And really quickly, just a couple of commercial spots from our allies, Spaces, and Live Streaming Video Pro. All right, welcome back, everybody. So what is Boost Biz Ed? What are we doing here today? First, I want to say congratulations for pausing your week to come where we biz hire, where biz is a verb, and we are lifting the trajectory of one small business, one action at a time. So this is all about actionable education. You will be hearing a lot of things that you can learn to take action to boost your business right away. Boost Biz Ed formed 8 years ago as of November 2017. It's all about actionable education, not a veiled sales pitch. And it's all about connecting you with information and insights from top business experts so that you can immediately improve your business. Boost Biz Ed is in other cities outside of San Diego and hopefully in more cities to come. There are currently 5 sites in 3 states, and this location meets on the 3rd Thursday of every month. So our next event is on August 16th. So now to talk about the benefits of being a Boost Biz Ed ally, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and I would like participation, please, okay? Sure. Yay. So would you rather chase cold leads or attract warm leads? Right. Would you rather figure out the when, where, and how of your own events? Or would you rather use a proven system for delivering consistent hands-free value? Exactly. So, of course, we picked B, and Boost Biz Ed is built to fill your pipeline with nurtured leads. If you're interested in being an ally, we are looking for allies for this event. You can visit boostbized.com/ally or talk to myself and Joanne. And now a quick word from our sponsor today, Rico Cavalia of the Ageless Living Lifestyle. All right, welcome back, everybody. So Boost Biz Ed is an interactive event, and there are many ways to promote this event. I hope that you could all find the Facebook live stream. It's on the Facebook page, Boost Biz Ed San Diego, and we would love it if you would share this live stream. You can also learn about Boost Biz Ed by going to boostbized.com. Boost Biz Ed is also on Meetup. If you go to meetup.com/boostbized. And they are also on Twitter at BoostDen, as in Denver, because Denver was the first location. So now we're going to move on to the guests who are here live with us. Thank you all for coming. Does everybody have an action form? Okay, good. Because I want to make sure that everybody has one. If you don't, you can just raise your hand and Joanne will take care of you. And just make sure to take really good notes during the presentation, and then we will be collecting these at the end so that you can tell us how you like the presentation and what action you might want.
Rico Cavalia, Ageless Living Lifestyle. If you would like to get the best value for $1 on the planet, go to BeBoldNeverBeOld.com. That's my new online wellness club. And for just $1, you can get a free month of my wellness club. You get four personal training videos from me. So that's at BeBoldNeverBeOld.com.
Okay, next.
Hi, my name is Heather Schumacher. I'm the CEO and founder of Radiate, which is a conscious brand strategy and conscious leadership coaching agency. And I'm just excited to be here. And that's really all I have to say in 20 seconds.
Have you ever left a meeting and the speaker kept you from getting or loving the material? Or worse, have you ever been that speaker? I'm Mila Shapiro, public speaking coach, helping people in person and via Skype to be prepared, polished, and powerful every time they have a reason to speak.
Hi, I'm Patty, and I'm using podcasts to learn how to sell products that I make. I currently make some children's books, and I've been doing a lot of stand-up comic, and I'm writing a book about how to write jokes, so I'm hoping podcasts will help me with that.
Hi guys, my name's Jessie Westcott, and I have a blog called the hyggeblog.com, HYGGE. It celebrates snuggliness and everyday delights. The idea is to enjoy the joy of the everyday and to appreciate every moment that we have, including this one that we have together today. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jojo Sanchez. I am the events coordinator for Partnerships with the Industry. We are a nonprofit that works with adults with disabilities and help them gain employment into the community. Thank you.
Hello, I am Angeline Hart. Empowered women come to me for something unique in their relationship, namely, if they want to double their income, double their impact, and double their lifestyle by becoming part of a power couple. This is done through my unique business, which is called Gorilla Love Coaching.
Hi, my name is Lauren. I'm with Right Hand Business Coach. So I work with other small business owners and help them plan and launch their full small business. I'm also the co-author of a new ebook called the Startup Guide, or Small Business Startup Guide. It's a 5-phase, no-fuss, 100-plus page ebook, and it's all about how to start your small business, from everything from the planning, legal aspect, and the brand and design.
Thank you. Hi, my name's Tara Tylicki. What are you looking to change? I love supporting people in their transformations. Traveled around the world, studied with different indigenous cultures and healers, so it's been about 20 years. So I support people physically, emotionally, spiritually, and I have my office right in Del Mar, and I do phone sessions around the world, and I'm really grateful. My website's fromtheheartoftara.com. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Jennifer Hudgens. I'm the owner of naturalwellness.tips. So I teach people how to live a healthier, happier lifestyle through natural health, like yoga, meditation, essential oils. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram to get some of my amazing tips and just help you live a happier life.
Hi, I'm Wendy Retzer, and I am a curiosity instigator. And women hire me to help them bring back that childlike wonder back into their lives, to reduce their stress and have more balance and enjoy their families and their work life and personal lives. I'm also the creator of Wednesdays with Wendy, creating those foundations for your life, and that occurs every Wednesday on FB Live.
Hi, everyone. My name's Tracy Barham, and I empower individuals and organizations to transcend limits. And I do that by working with nonprofit organizations to help them boost their fundraising and work with their board and utilize their strategic planning. And then I work with individuals in executive coaching and leadership coaching, and I'm developing a program for bringing mindfulness into the workplace. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Joanne Chen. I support the Conscious Business Chamber of Commerce with event promotion, so events like this or webinars. And if you're interested in learning,
Please, I'm Sarah Ann Dordell, your MC. I'm a visibility expert. I help to launch projects and build businesses that are visible, profitable, and most importantly, enjoyable. I'm also passionate about helping good people doing good things, and that's why I founded the Conscious Business Chamber of Commerce. I will have more information about that in my offer afterwards, but I think it's time to introduce our speaker. But before I do that, we're going to show a quick video about the benefits of being a speaker with Boost Biz Ed and how you can apply.
Are you interested in being a featured expert presenter at Boost Biz Ed San Diego? You can qualify today by joining the Speaker and Event Leader membership of the Conscious Business Chamber of Commerce. Speaker and event leaders for the Conscious Business Chamber pay only $35 a month and receive VIP member benefits including premier access to opportunities for speaking engagements and podcast interviews, exclusive privileges to promote live events, webinars, and special offers, enhanced member profiles for optimal exposure, and immediate visibility as a leader of our thriving community of 2,000 plus members just in San Diego alone. There are many more benefits to come, and you can join today by visiting consciousbusinesschamber.com and choose membership option, speaker and event leader.
All right, welcome back, everybody, and a warm welcome to everybody here who is joining us on Facebook Live. Make sure to interact with our live audience, all of you out there in the virtual world. And are you ready to meet our speaker today? So I'm really excited to introduce a dear friend and just an incredible resource for everybody here today. She's also my mentor, so I'll begin by saying that. Today, Devi Adea, the spiritual entrepreneur, presents Podcasting on Purpose. Devi is the host of the popular Spiritual Entrepreneur podcast. She has been featured as an icon of influence at the New Media Summit in San Diego, and she speaks regularly on the topic of podcasting. She has helped numerous podcasters to launch their own podcasts, like me, through her podcast on Purpose Online Academy. And since 2016, Devi has interviewed many well-known spiritual entrepreneurs on her show, including Ariel Ford, Mari Smith, Dr. John DeMartini, Sean Cannell, Christine Hassler, Derek Rydell, and David G., just to name a few. Devi is a published author of a children's book for empathic kids and a spiritual business strategist and intuitive leader. She helps spiritual entrepreneurs, speakers, and leaders to upgrade their consciousness and to express the unique soul's imprint on the world in service to humanity. With a lot of applause, please help me welcome Devi.
Thank you so much. And what's the name of your show?
Yeah. Redefining the Good Businessman.
Redefining the Good Businessman. Yeah. Beautiful. So welcome, everybody. I know it took a lot to get here for some of you today. I know for me, I think it's Comic-Con is going on, and there's also, can you hear me all right? A little bit louder. Okay. Comic-Con is going on, and there's also, we have the Del Mar Fair that's just started, so I know it took a lot for some of you to be here. So I want to acknowledge each one of you for making the time today to come on out and support your message and your mission on podcasting potentially, checking it out. And to those of you who are listening in where you are, I know it takes something too to make the time in your day, so thank you so much for being here. And I just want to start off with giving a little agenda for what we're going to be covering, and hopefully this is going to work well. Okay, great. So during our time together, I'd love to just start off and share a little bit of my journey of podcasting with each one of you so you can get an idea of what it's like to be a podcaster. Talk about some of the huge benefits of podcasting and what's available to you if you should choose to create a podcast for your business. Talk about how you can grow your show and find new guests, which is always great. I want to share with you the number one mistake that I see podcasters make, and also the top 2 success principles that I see really lead to success for podcasters, as well as how to monetize your podcast. And if it's all right with you, I'd also love to invite to support you with that if that's something you want to do at the end. Does that sound like a good agenda for today? Sure. Fantastic. Okay, so I'll just keep talking. So have you guys, have you ever have you ever thought to yourself, man, I have this message and this mission, this thing that I want to share in the world, but you're not quite sure how to get it out? Or maybe you thought, man, God, if I could just get on that big stage or on Oprah or on, oh, thank you. or on, let me just check this. Okay, there you go. Or on Oprah or some other major media platform, that then I could get my message out. Or maybe you've struggled. Anyone here ever struggled with trying to find out what their message is? There's so many things you could do, but you're not sure what exactly it is. Or maybe you thought, you know, how is it that those people make money from sharing their message when there's nothing more that I want to do than that? Has anyone ever had some variety or version of that? Well, yeah, well, me as well. For years, I struggled with figuring out how to powerfully and profitably get my message out in the world. And it was pretty painful for me. I started off sharing someone else's mission and message. I worked in high-tech corporate out in Silicon Valley at Oracle Corporation. This was back when they had 3 buildings instead of 6 at their headquarters. I had offices in here, and here, and in here at different points. And I was doing speaking about 4 to 5 days a week, and I was really good at it. I was talking to affiliate partners, Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100 companies, affiliates, customer visitor center people that would come to visit. And I was talking to groups of 2,000 to 4,000 people at a time. And then one day, oops, what happened? Can I go back to this?
This is the back button?
Yeah, okay. Then one New Year's Eve, I wrote out my bucket list of things that I wanted to do before I passed on. Have any of you ever done a bucket list? Yeah? Well, I found my bucket list from 2 years prior. And in 2 years of my life, I'm just sitting there looking at it, I'm going, they're the exact same thing. And I had done nothing of the things that I said were most important on my list before I died. And so that year I said, well, forget this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to schedule these. So I did a whole bunch of stuff that year. I went and I got scuba certified. I ran a marathon at 214 pounds. I'm going to tell you that's no easy feat. I got my Hang 1. I traveled Europe. I became a licensed skydiver. I did a whole bunch of things that year. And at the end of the year, I thought, okay, well, I'm looking at my list, and I've checked off most of my list. But I didn't feel any more fulfilled. I'd been making all this money and doing all these things in order to someday be able to do this stuff. And I had done it, and I didn't have any more joy or fulfillment. And so I was left with this question, which I think some of us hit every once in a while, which is, now what? I've done all this stuff in order to someday get to this place, so now what? What's it about? Right? And so have any of you ever had that question show up for you? Kind of hit that point in your journey? So I was like, okay, well, maybe it's not about doing acquisition and buying things. Maybe it's not about experience. Maybe it's not about any of those things. Maybe it's about contribution. So I left my corporate job. I went to work for this big guy over there. I haven't been down here much in UTC, but I became a coach working for Tony Robbins companies. And I thought, maybe if I'm being of contribution, I'll get that fulfillment that I've been seeking, because there was something that was pushing on my heart and soul, and I couldn't quite figure out what it was. And so I went to work, and I was loving the coaching. It was great. And I'm just going to use this because that's not flowing for me yet. And I did some leadership as well. And this is me out in Palm Desert, so one of the Date with Destiny events, leading a group. I look a little bit different. I'm a little younger, a little thinner, but I'm in there. And it was great, and I loved the contribution aspect of coaching, and I felt like this is great to actually make a difference in the lives of people. But what I realized was I was still feeling this push inside. There was something inside of me that kept calling me and wanting me to go and do something different, because I was still sharing someone else's message and mission. And I felt like I had so much more that I wanted to contribute, but I really wasn't sure what it was. Has anyone ever been there? Yep. So I left, and I started my own coaching practice back in 2000, and I started making an amazing difference for people. I had people with $200,000 bonuses, like dropping 50 pounds, 5xing their income, and I still had this nagging thing. It just didn't feel fully fulfilling, and I'm like, how is this contribution should be the thing, right? Why am I not feeling more fulfilled? And so I started to take an inner journey of inquiry, and I went to some friends, and I did this great exercise. And this is a great exercise if you're ever wanting to kind of get some clarity around what your gifts are. So it's something you can ask. And I went to a group of friends and clients, and I said, if I have a unique ability, one that sets me apart, what would it be? And it was awesome, the results, that people sent me things that said things like, when I'm around you, I believe that anything is possible. When I'm with you, I'm inspired to be the best version of myself. When I'm around you, I feel so safe and so held, which was great, right? You want to hear those things from people you love. My challenge, though, was it was all about being. And I didn't know what to do with that. So I started to do a lot of different things. And I started touring around the world again, because that's what do? You get on a plane and go and see if you can find it in person. Went to Crete. I was in Sardinia and Europe and going all around doing different things. I created an audio visualization CD. I wrote a children's book. I did 2 yoga teacher certifications. This is my husband. He's really fun. You'll hopefully meet him someday. I did some corporate board facilitation. I wrote a music single. So anyone in the house a creator or creative? Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. It's a lot of creative energy and you're figuring it out. And so what I found and discovered was that I love to create, but I still didn't know how to monetize any of this. So I sat with that for a little bit, and I did what you would call, and actually I'm a little warm. I'm not meaning to disrobe in front of you guys, but it's a little hot in here. Yeah, so I started to go and I started to do what I would call like an online study of how to monetize. And I did online internet marketing research. Anyone ever done this? You get on your computer and waste a lot of time researching and studying, right? And I did some free Kindle book launches, and I did all sorts of internet marketing, Facebook ads, everything. And what I ended up having was, maybe you guys have one of these, the equivalent to a PhD in unused marketing education at this point, right? I knew a heck of a lot, but it was really just me at home in my computer and not really creating or monetizing the message I wanted to create. And I was frustrated and it was painful. And I had all these people telling me, you need to niche to get rich. And you've got to, stop doing this and do this. Or this person would say one thing and another person would say another thing. And I thought, I'm so confused. I don't know what's going on. And I just felt really frustrated and it was painful. And so then one day I'm on a plane flight from San Diego, California to Washington, D.C. I'm from Washington, D.C. originally. And I listened to this podcast on podcasting. And I listened to the whole thing there and back, which was probably about 10 hours, right, of podcast. And I got back and I called up my friend and I said, hey, guess what? I said, I want to do a podcast. I was listening to this podcast on podcasting. It sounds amazing. And she said, well, it's really interesting. You should say that because I want to do a podcast too. I was just thinking about that. I'm like, really? She's like, really? I'm like, how long do you think it'll take? She's like, 2 months? I'm like, okay, 2 months? Yeah. I said, do you think we can do it? Yeah. Okay, so May 31st, 2016, that's it. All right, great. So what are you going to talk about? Now, go back a slide. You remember I was having a really hard time figuring out that thing, right? What I wanted to speak on. And so I kind of froze for a little bit and I was like, I don't know what I'd want my podcast to be on. I don't know. She said, well, I'm going to give you 72 hours to make a decision and pick what your topic's going to be, and that's it. And I really invite you, if you're wanting to pick a topic, give yourself a deadline because it really helps with making the choice. And so I sat there with that for a moment, and she said, you've had this domain name, spiritualentrepreneur.com, since 1999. Maybe you should use it. And I thought, I can't talk about that. And I was terrified. And so here's the thing. What I realized in that moment was when I was a kid, I had shut down a huge part of my voice because I grew up in a family that was extremely spiritually oriented, and they came from a very metaphysical place. And so I would have deceased relatives visiting me at grandma's house, right? I mean, it was pretty crazy stuff that I grew up around in traditional circles. And at that time, that was not okay. And so I would go to school at age 5, I was actually pretty tall at age 5, but I'd go to school. And I stopped growing at 12, just in case you're wondering. And I went in, I know, really. Yeah, and so, and I would talk to the kids at school, and I'd be like, oh yeah, we're visiting with our deceased uncle, you know, he was over visiting or whatever. And the kids are like, you freak, what are you talking about? You're crazy. And so I remember going back to my grandma and saying, Grandma, what's wrong? Why are they, you know, I just was telling them about dinner. And she's like, honey, you can't tell them about what happens at our dinner table or anything that's spiritual about you, or they'll lock you in a rubber room and throw away the key. And I thought, okay, so 5-year-old, you learn what's safe. So I kind of held all of those things that were really my reality. I was very empathic. I could feel other people's feelings. That's why I wrote that kid's book. And I just wouldn't tell people any of that part of myself. And I very quickly learned to distinguish, okay, here's the business world, and this is what's okay, and this is what's my truth. And I watched my father do that. He was president of a bank, and he was a yogi, and never the two should meet in public. They were very separate. And so I realized at this point, wow, I can not talk about that. That's not going to happen. I can't. There's no way. And I was terrified. So I invite you, if you have a message or a mission or something that is pressing on your heart and soul to share in any way, be it on a podcast, be it from a stage, be it in a book, whatever that is, please listen to that, because there's such richness in it and such a gift there for you. And for podcasting specifically, if you're looking for your topic and there's something like that, you're onto something. It's a great topic to go with. So within 72 hours, I agreed to do spiritualentrepreneur.com. And I said, all right, so now what do we do? And I did what you do when you have a little stage. I had a little meetup group. So I invited a woman in to talk about podcasting. And from that event, I didn't learn everything I needed to do the podcast, but I learned that I could do it. And I went and I left there, and I'll let you guess what I did next. Anyone have any ideas?
Search the internet.
I went back and I got my second PhD, but this time I was going to use it. And and I went on the internet, and I went on user groups, and I watched YouTube videos, and I just went nuts trying to figure out how to do a podcast, because at this point I had less than 2 months and I needed to get it all done. So I basically went through and this is what you're going to need. So when you launch your show, you're going to want to have 3 episodes to start. And the reason why is, if you think about today's culture, a lot of us will binge watch things, right? Or binge listen to things. You want to be able to give them a next place to go to start to develop a relationship with you out of the gate. And 3 episodes are great. And it'll also help with something called New and Noteworthy with iTunes, because there'll be more people will be more likely to subscribe and download and review if they have more content. And that only lasts for 8 weeks when you start out your podcast. So I started off, these are the different types of shows you can have. I decided to create a hybrid show where I interview people, as well as I do what I call Devi download episodes, where I speak directly to them on particular topics. But you could do an interview style where all you do is have guests on, you interview them. You can have a show where you speak direct to audio, where you just teach and share. Or you can do the hybrid like I did, or you can do a co-hosted show where you have someone else where you both get together and maybe interview someone or share a conversation back and forth. And a new thing that's showing up that's really popular for people that are coaches is doing a coaching show that's live. And it actually helps a lot with building your business, because people will be listening to you create transformation for someone else, right? And they're going to want to be in the seat of the person that's being coached. So it actually helps to build your business very organically and naturally, if that's something that you do as well. So you'll need to have a microphone and a headset, and you're basically going to have a way to record them. And I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to give you a place where you can go to get a whole studio recommendation thing for free in a little bit, and we talk about that. I recommend nowadays using Zoom for recording. If you guys anyone here use Zoom?
Love it.
Yeah, super easy. It's the easiest way I found to teach people nowadays. I used to use Ecamm with Skype for the Mac, but Zoom is way easier, and as long as you configure it properly, it'll work really well for podcasting. So anyone here like to learn from someone else's mistakes? Yeah, okay, well, I'll share mine then. Okay, so my first 3 episodes were a little crazy. They're super easy now compared to how they were then. So you normally go episodes 1, 2, 3 in order, but I was so nervous about talking about spirituality that I went 3, 2, 1, because I didn't want to go in that direction. I didn't want to start with telling my story. So I started with episode number 3, and I had this woman, Lauren Gaggioli, come on, and she was actually the podcaster that I had come in and speak to my meetup group to talk about how podcasting was done, right? And have you ever recorded your voicemail and just kind of loved it? You know, you get on there and you're like, hey, this is Devi. Shoot. All right, wait a second. Hey, this is darn it, right? You ever done that? Anyone here? Okay. This was me with my podcast introductions. Hello and welcome to the Spiritual Entrepreneur. Today we have Lauren Gadgian. Okay, one second. Hello and welcome to the Spiritual Entrepreneur. Today we have Lauren Gadgioli, and she's talking about Taktakota. I could not talk to save my life. And this is someone who used to present for a living. Like, I did that ongoingly. I couldn't speak. And so I'm like, well, you know, when I coach, I stand and deliver. So I'm going to stand up and get my microphone tall, and then I'll be able to do it, right? And I still couldn't get it done. And so the beautiful thing about that episode is I had someone who was a veteran that was with me. And so she says to me, when I did this, she said, you know, you don't have to introduce people on your first episode. She said, I didn't do it for 6 months. And I thought, really? And she's like, yeah, no, just do that later, record it after. And I thought, okay, well, you know, I really think people should hear who they are before we talk. And so I came up with the way of just how I do it now is I say, you know what, I don't always read properly. These, you know, just know that by the time it gets to production, it's going to sound amazing. But I think it's really important for you to hear who you are before you go on and talk about your own story you're interviewed. And that's how I tell my guests what I'm going to do. I pre-frame it in advance. But having someone there to tell me that I didn't have to do that was huge, because I had been doing that PhD on my own thing. Yeah.
I always record the opening after the entire interview is done, because then I know what's going to end up being said, and I can tease it, and I know it's going to happen.
What's your show?
It's called Full Speech Ahead.
Full Speech Ahead. I love that. That's a great
Anything
name.
about communication through the spoken word.
Beautiful. I love it. Full Speech Ahead. Check it out. Okay. And the second episode that I did was the really good friend, and I'm really glad it was a really good friend, because I was in DC, and I was visiting family, and I wasn't as familiar with the system over there. And we went through and we had this amazing interview. It was just so good. And we get off the phone, and I go off the Skype recording. I hang up and I go and I look for the recording, and it wasn't there. And I was just sick. I didn't even know what to do. I was like, oh my God, I just did this and it's not there. How do I even tell her? How do I even tell her? And so luckily she's a really good friend, and I came clean right away. I called her back and I said, I'm ill right now. I just have to tell you, I feel sick. We just did this amazing interview and it's not there anymore. And I'm so sorry, and I don't know what to do about it. I've looked everywhere and I can't find it. And she said, you know what? This is the lesson for me, is first thing is you want to watch your indicator light when you're recording. Always check and make sure that it's on, because it turns on automatically, and I turned it off. But the second thing is you want to have someone, especially when you're starting out, like in your first couple of episodes, that's very loving, that you know well. I think really helps in case these kinds of things happen. And she was so gracious. She said, well, honey, all that means is that wasn't for anyone but us. And she said, so we're going to redo it, and we're going to redo it tomorrow, and it's going to be done. And so it was great, and I was so grateful. It's just this how we should be in the world, is how she showed up for me that day. But I definitely would say, when you're starting out, watch the indicator light and make sure you've got some gracious guests that you're going to be talking to, that you have good trust with. And then the very last episode, can you imagine what day I did this on? Yes, it was May 31st, 2016. And guess what I had to do? Because I had a deadline of 2 months. I had to record my first episode and come out spiritually on iTunes. That was crazy. And so I'm in Washington, D.C., my apartment. I'm visiting family again. There's a theme to this. I'm not even out here at my home. And the apartment that I was normally staying in was having some work done. And so I'm at my aunt's home. And have you guys ever seen those little, they're like card tables? They have the 4 legs that come out, right? And then there's these little chairs that go with them that kind of pop open, right? And they have like fabric. It's not very attractive. Okay. So I'm in my cousin's bedroom. She's gone away to college and moved on, right? And I'm in one of these little creaky chairs. I set it down, and every time I move, it's like, and I'm trying not to move. I'm holding really tight. And there's a green towel down, and there's my microphone, and I didn't want any kind of reflection to go into the thing. And I'm staring at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, all right, you get 3 tries. That's it. You're going to do it 3 times, and then you got to pick one. So I started talking, and I'm holding myself still, and I'm thinking this is going to be terrible. It's going to be the worst episode you've ever heard, right? So here's the thing that I learned. It sounded like I was in a studio. No one would know that I was sitting in a creaky little chair in my cousin's bedroom with like a green fuzzy towel sitting there with my microphone. It really sounded good. So the lessons from this one for me were deadlines definitely work. I would not have done it had I not had a deadline. And I launched it that night at midnight was when I actually pushed my show live. And you can do your podcast anywhere. And the biggest thing that I would say that has really helped me with podcasting is this mantra, which is done is better than perfect. Can we all repeat that? Done is better than perfect, yeah. So I invite you in anything that you're doing, just take that on as a truth because it will help you to get your podcast out or anything else that you're wanting to create. So again, at midnight that night, we launched. We have 113 plus episodes now. I'll be doing 114 this week. And my life really hasn't been the same since. It's been an extraordinary journey. What I've learned is that my podcast has become really a global stage for my business. I was talking to a friend, I was over visiting his wife, and she says, you know, it's really funny, I just got a call from Tiamo, and he's in Phoenix, and he's going to see this friend, and he gets in an Uber, right? You never know who you're gonna touch. Gets in an Uber, and he's showing the guy music, because he's a musician and a podcaster. And the guy, he sees the podcast app, he says, oh, what shows do you listen to? He says, oh, Spiritual Entrepreneur is my absolute favorite. I listen to it every week. And my friend's been on that show, on my show, and random, right? This guy has just moved over from another country, and it's inspiring him every week. You never know who you're going to touch or who's listening to you. So it truly is a global stage. They were listening when they were in another country, and they're listening now that they're here, too. And for me, what's not missing anymore is that nagging feeling, that thing that was pushing on me all those years of needing to express through me. Now that's all coming out. And it's almost like I have this, with the minute I started doing my podcast, I got this sense of relief, knowing that that was going to be expressing. So some of the doors that have opened for me and that would open for you with the podcast is stages open up all over the place, for one thing. I've been featured as an icon of influence in the New Media Summit, as you had mentioned, and I'm doing that again in the fall. And the beautiful thing about that is I got to meet a bunch of other icons. It's a declarative term, it sounds kind of strange to me when I say it, but there were 40 of us, and I got to meet all of these podcasters, and you were there, yeah. Podcasters that have been doing this for years, and finding like a mastermind of people, and we've swapped shows and helped each other to grow our businesses, and there are lifetime friendships that have come out of that never would have happened if I hadn't actually had the guts to push publish on launch day. And I've had multiple online summits that have opened up for me, affiliate relationships that have resulted in a lot of profits for me, speaking opportunities on a bunch of different stages that have opened up, radio shows, other popular podcasts, as I mentioned. There's really like no limit to the amount of opportunities that show up when you have your own podcast. And it's an extraordinary asset. It truly keeps paying back for itself ongoingly. One of the things that I absolutely love about it too is that you're talking to experts especially if you have an interview style, I should say. If you have an interview style or a hybrid show, you're speaking to experts in your most interested topic area every week. And the inspiration is extraordinary. For me, it's like forced training and education and growth every week with some of the most inspiring people you could ever want to talk to. And for me, it was kind of coming out spiritually. I was talking to people who were already there. And I could borrow their belief and their courage and watch their journey and learn from them to be able to do that myself. And it's something you just don't get in any other medium. So I've had people on my show that have flown private jets, that have millions of dollars per year. They speak from all sorts of stages. I've had Vedic astrologers. I've had people that own their own TV networks, best-selling authors. David G taught meditation to a whole stadium full of people. He's a really neat guy if you haven't met him. I had a Buddhist monk turn into prosperous spiritual entrepreneur. He was a really interesting interview. But you get to talk to people that just light up your heart and inspire you, and you get to inspire every listener that's listening to your show in the process. So it's a win-win-win. So how many of you listen to podcasts? Fantastic. And how many episodes do you guys listen to per week? Just like 2 or 3? 1 to 2? 10 or more? Woo! Yeah, okay, you're raising the average. Okay. 1? Okay. Anyone else?
I'm
okay.
a double digits girl.
Double digits girl, okay.
20.
Well,
always on.
yeah, 80% of the people now listen to 7 episodes or more a week, yeah, on average. And where do you guys listen to your podcasts? Car? Walking? I love it. Walking, showering, in the house constantly. Exercise at gym or out and about? Walking, okay. Anyone else? Any other places? Bathrooms, Yeah. So one of the beautiful things about podcasting is that when we're connecting with our listeners, we're connecting in everybody's day-to-day life. We're having these conversations in your home, when you're walking. There's a different relationship that gets developed when you're together doing this in your day-to-day life. So some of the interesting statistics that I found is that 80% of the listeners, as I mentioned, listen to an average of 7 shows per week. I can slide out of the way if you want to take a picture. 48% of the population is listening to podcasts. 143 million commuters exist every day commuting, and 76% of their driving is alone. It's not a great stat for our environment, but for podcasting, it's a very great stat because that means also their average driver is spending 55 minutes per day driving. And the cars that are out there today, I have a friend who works in the automotive industry, they're all suited for people to be able to play your podcast as a radio station. And for those of you who listen in your car, you're already familiar with that technology. And a really interesting statistic for people wanting to build their business through their podcast is that 45% of monthly podcast listeners have household income of over $75,000. And a lot of them are college educated as well. It's an interesting population. So how many people do you let talk directly into your ear? If you were to say like 0 to 5, anyone?
Kids,
0? Maybe your kids? Anyone? Yeah, not many people, right? Like I know my husband's about the only person who kind of whispers in my ear. I don't let the majority of people whisper in my ear. But the thing about podcasting is we're listening to the shows directly inside of our ear. And our voice is actually a physical mechanism that has touch, right? So when you're speaking, you're actually connecting with someone inside their ear and in a really intimate way, inside their environment at home. And you're also having very long conversations compared to how you might reach someone in other mediums because they're doing other things, so they have more time to sit and listen to podcasts. So you basically become a part of their, what's that old marketing, the fabric of their everyday lives. You become a part of their world, right? So how much time do you guys spend posting on social media every day? Let's just say on average. An hour? 20 minutes? An hour? Anyone else? Other? No? Okay. And what is the engagement that you get for your time? Meaning, how many people actually fully engage in what you're taking that 20 minutes or an hour to connect with? You can just think about that. You don't even have to say it. Would you say what? 2 to 5 comments. Okay. So some people are engaging and reading it fully. And how long do you think it takes to read a tweet? Just an average tweet?
6 seconds.
6 seconds? Okay. That's about what I would guess. And guys, just, there's no right or wrong answers. We can just guess. And then how about watching a video?
Depends on the video.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Let's say
15 to 60 minutes.
What would be a minute or 2? Okay. 15 to...
Oh, I thought we were talking about a longer video.
Oh, yeah. What video? What would be the longest you went?
Like 30 to 60 minutes.
30 to 60 minutes. Okay. How many people watch that video? Okay. Seeing a lot of shakes.
For half an hour videos. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 3 minutes and 20 seconds, but nothing more. But you will podcast in your bathroom, in your house, at 10 plus episodes, right? So, because you can multitask. That's exactly it. Yeah, that's exactly it. So, and how long does it usually take to listen to your favorite podcast? Like, how long are the episodes? An hour. Yeah, okay. 20 minutes to an hour usually, somewhere in that range, right? So think about how much more engagement you get on a podcast than you would get. And if you spent an hour a week recording and have it edited, right? There you go. And Libsyn will auto-publish. So it's a really great place to be for sharing with your developing relationships. So 80% of the listeners listen to almost all or most or all of an episode. So if you think about that, an hour, 20 minutes to an hour, you're getting a lot more time with your ideal client, potentially, listener, someone who's definitely interested in what it is that you're interested in, that is attracted to you, that's there with you on your show, right? And you're serving them in a beautiful way. I mean, I get so much out of listening to podcasts, that they're a big part of my life. And how many of you feel like you know the host of your favorite podcast really well? Like you know their dog, their cat, their home, you know when their husband makes noise in the other room, you know, right? I feel like I know. I'm like, yeah, Brendan, man, we're tight. Me and Shalene, we go way back. Like, right? Anyone that I listen to, I'm always like, you know, I feel like I know them. So think about the relationship that you can develop with your audience and the amount of time that you would get with them and the depth of it and how you feel as a listener with the podcaster that you're listening to. It's pretty amazing, right? And it's all inside of our ears, in our cars and everywhere else. So the other beautiful thing that I love about podcasting is that they're evergreen. So what that means is I could quit podcasting today, which I will not do because I love me some podcasting. However, if I quit podcasting today, there's going to be 113 episodes that are out there that are going to serve people ongoingly if I just kept my media host up. And I don't have to do any work for that. It's still there. It's there for people to enjoy and experience and connect with, right? So it's evergreen, it's there, and it's always working there on your behalf. And then another neat statistic that I thought was really great is over 50% of marketing agencies recommend podcast marketing over other forms of media marketing because of the unique relationship that you create with your listeners. And a lot of times that's actually done in the voice of the podcaster. So because you have that relationship, they'll have you do the advertising piece yourself. So this is good news for monetization. So the top 2 success principles that I believe will lead to podcasting success and that I've seen in a lot of my students is number 1, first and foremost, is consistency. And if you think about it, if you were to go and sit down and get your cup of tea, put up your feet, put on your fuzzy slippers or whatever, pop your earbuds in, and you're all excited because your favorite show is going to be on, and they don't show up, what are you going to think? Like, I know for me, I'd be worried about them. I'd be like, oh my God, they didn't come. Are they okay? Did something happen to them? Or I might be a little like, well, miffed, like they broke a date. Like, how come they're not here, right? Because you build this relationship where you come to rely on that as a part of your life. Like maybe that's a part of your normal routine. And so there's actually a break in connection when you don't show up for your listeners when they get used to you. Were you going to say something? Okay. So consistency is key. And the other thing is you'll be amazed how quickly you go from having those 3 episodes to 103 episodes or whatever. It just happens really fast when you're consistently doing it. And the beautiful thing about podcasting is you don't have to record consistently. You can actually batch your recordings on one day. So you could do like 2 months of episodes, for example, in 8 hours of one day if you wanted to, or you could do 2 days where you record and then they're edited and put up and scheduled. So all of that connection is pre-scheduled for the next 2 months and you're done with that content piece. And you can repurpose the audio if you want to and have it transcribed and turned into other forms of content, which is great. It's another great way of reusing and repurposing that. And if you do video, you can actually separate the audio. If you're already doing video, you can pull the audio off of the video and use that on a podcast and repurpose that audio as well. So it's a really great way of using the existing content you may be creating. And then the other thing is having really powerful systems in place is the other thing that I've seen lead to success. Because if you have things that you're constantly redoing and redoing and redoing, it can take a lot of time and then people end up not doing it. So for example, when I first started podcasting, I would go back and forth with people to schedule them. And that could take a lot of time. And then I realized, oh, I can automate this. So I created a scheduling link that gathered the information I needed, their bio, their photo, everything, sent it to me automatically. and then created an event in my calendar for the day that we're going to meet, and gave them an opportunity to reschedule, cancel, whatever they needed to do by just giving them a link, right? And that saved hours of my time. So having good systems really helps.
What are you using?
I use Acuity scheduling. I love it. Acuity scheduling. Yeah.
I love Acuity.
Acuity is fantastic. Yeah, they're really great. And if you're using it for something else, you can see how easy it would transfer over. Yeah, it's a fantastic software. And then the number one mistake that I see people making is trying to do it all themselves. So if there is a part of podcasting or any part of your work that you're doing where you're just like, man, I really don't love it. It's not my thing. It's not what I want to do. Over time, especially if you're being consistent in doing this over time, if, say, for example, you love interviewing and that's your unique gift, but you don't like editing, and you keep doing the editing, eventually you might give up on the interviewing, which is something that you love. So the thing that I've seen really help people be successful is to outsource the pieces you don't love and do the pieces you do. And there's some people that geek out on editing, so don't get me wrong. Some people love it. But if it's not your gift, outsource those pieces and you'll be a lot happier and your show will grow. I know for me, I edited my first 70-something episodes. I forget how long. It was a lot of episodes. And it was grueling. And I got to a point where I thought, I'm really not loving this anymore. And so I went and worked with a company called Podcast Press. And if you go to podcastpresstrial.com, you can get like a 70 trial and try them out. They're amazing. They're partners of mine now. But I started off using them, and it was fantastic because it was all of a sudden, I was just getting one interview a week. Like, I wasn't pre-batching because in my mind, and my subconscious was like, I can't handle that. That's too many edits. I don't even want to do that. The minute I outsourced, I had like 10 interviews just pop right in. It was just so quick because I had handed off the piece I didn't want to do. And so some pro tips on how to grow your show. So your show's going to grow a lot by the call to action that you give in what we call a bumper. So anyone familiar with bumpers are? They basically bump up to the beginning, or they're in the middle or at the end of your episode. And they're places where you can create like a call to action of some kind. They could be in the form of an ad, or it could be like a call to action at the end where you say, listen, subscribe, listen. I always say, if you're new or returning to the show and have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to receive the latest episodes as they're released. And if you love what you heard today, we'd love a great review too. So that's like my little thing at the end of my show that I say almost every time. That's going to get people.
Say it every time. It's not a pre-recorded thing.
Because that's how I wrap up my interview, and it puts a nice little piece at the end, and I can clap at the end for them, and then I'm done. But you can actually pre-record that and just have it added with your editor if you want to do that. But that's one of the ways to grow your show. The more that people like and subscribe, and the more that people hear about your show is great. Going on other people's podcasts, my show has grown significantly since I became an icon of influence because I've ended up on all these other people's podcasts that have very large numbers as well. They get to go and cross-promote each other. If you're speaking, it's a great place to tell people about your show. You find that you get a bump in subscribers a lot of the time. And when you're having interviews, so if you have an interview style format, you'll find that you get a lot of the people that come on your show will share your show with their tribe. And that's another way that your show will grow really quickly, is people will listen to that episode and then get to know you through that. One of the ways that I started to grow my show and finding guests was at the end of each episode, when I was wrapping up, I would acknowledge them and thank them for being there, and then I would say, hey, so you kind of know what it's like to be on my show now. Who do you know that would be your top 1 or 2 recommended people for the show that would just be a perfect fit? And then you just be quiet and you let them think, and then they'll give you a recommendation. You say, hey, would you be willing to make an introduction? It's super simple like that. And my show grew so much. A lot of the interviews I got was from that. Also, Pat Flynn talks a lot about how you can go into Facebook groups and search on Facebook and look up people that have a similar market to yours, and then find large Facebook groups and invite the people that run the Facebook group to be on your show. And then they will actually share the episode with their whole group a lot of the time. So it's another way to get a spike in growth for your show. And then monetizing your message, which I know we were talking earlier about some of the people having some challenges with that. You can always have sponsors that are paid sponsors for your show when you reach a certain number of listeners. I've heard it quoted $4K per episode, up to $35K per episode. And that was like Tim Ferriss talking about the $35K per spot. But with the Icons of Influence Mastermind that we did, I was finding from people, a lot of them have tiers that they do. So they'll say, here's your silver tier, gold tier, platinum tier. And there are packages where they would get not only, they're kind of more than one episode, they'll say, you buy this spot, you get this many bumpers, and you get this mentions on social media, and you get this number of email sends, and they charge quite a bit for that. We're talking like six-figure sponsorships for their shows. So that's another way that you can monetize as well.
How many downloads or listeners would you need just to get like a 4K sponsor?
It depends upon how niched your show is. If your show's super niched, you're going to probably be able to get that sooner. Otherwise, they say it's like $25 for 1,000 people, like if you look online. But if your show's niched and the audience is specific, then you can probably get it sooner. So it really depends upon that, and also what you ask for. If someone wants to be a sponsored on your show, they're gonna pay you probably if they really want your audience.
Is there a way to know how many people are downloading or listening to the show?
Yeah. So do you have a media host?
No, I do everything. Unless you mean Blog Talk Radio, is that what you mean?
Okay, so Blog Talk Radio is a little bit different, but so like typically when you have a podcast, you have what's called a media host, and it's different to a web host in that your media host is basically hosting the media or the audio, your show notes, and it will actually publish and syndicate to iTunes, Stitcher, TuneCore, iHeartRadio, all the different main podcast directories for you. So basically what you do is when you have your media host, I use Libsyn, they're my absolute favorite. They've been around the longest. Libsyn is Libsyn. And they're my... .com, yeah. They've been around, I think, since 2004, maybe. A lot of the larger podcasters use them. They've fantastic support, the best support, I think, in the industry. But they will basically take your stuff and give you stats. So you can see who's downloading on what platform, age, location. You can see, it's really nice. You get a lot of statistics that you wouldn't get otherwise. Minimum is $5 a month for media hosting, but you don't get the advanced statistics with that. I pay $20 a month, and I get the pro. That's like a pro account. And you get all the advanced statistics you want.
I was assuming that was way more expensive.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's nothing. Yeah, it's pretty amazing at what you can create for a global platform for the price.
Is it a good idea to have a regular time when you do your podcast?
Yes. So I would say it's more important that your publication time is the same. That's the consistency piece. So you could record, I have Thursdays are my recording day. So I know when it's going to be preset when I'm going to record, and I have set slots, so it's in my schedule of when I want to do it. And I would say when you're publishing, it's really important that you publish at least on the same day, if not same general time range, so people know when to expect to receive an episode. Yeah.
Did you say it was $5 a month?
Yeah, exactly.
It's $5 a month or per episode?
A month.
Oh, wow.
But there's a limit to the sizing too with the $5. But mine, I do hour episodes for a month, $20, get all the stats, and it's awesome. And if you use coupon code LOVE, that's my coupon code because I'm all about the love. They'll give you, I think, they give you some big discount. You get a free trial and then like half off, I think, the next month or something. What was the coupon called? Love. Love. And so, okay, and I'm going to answer questions, but I want to make sure I get through do a quick question, and then we'll go through. And
No, I was just wondering what editing do you use? Like what kind of system do you use for editing?
Oh, for editing, I use Podcast Press now.
Okay.
What I used to use was, I have a Mac, so I use GarageBand. It's free, but there's also Audacity, which is free, or you can get, if you want to spurge, you can get like Adobe Audition or something. But if you have a Mac, GarageBand's great. If you have a PC, you can do Audacity, or a Mac can do Audacity as well. Adobe Audition. Oh, Podcast Press. Yeah, and if you go to Podcast Press Trial, they'll give you a free trial episode. You can try them out. .com. Okay. So, yeah, lots of good questions. You guys are great. Okay. So, so monetizing your message. there's a lot of different ways to monetize. One is affiliate sales. There's specific programs out there too that you can get linked into. Like Audible has a program for podcasters specifically, where they'll give you $15 for anyone who even does a free trial and doesn't even sign up for Audible. So you can find those types of affiliate relationships if you don't already have them. But if you have business partners, you can also put things in launches and do interviews with them where you have an affiliate relationship and you actually receive some revenue off of what they sell at the end. If you have your own products, you can do your own bumpers for your products. You can do event sales for yourself or other people, again, as an affiliate. Coaching is great if you have a coaching specific format, and then you invite people to sign up for, either apply for coaching with you or have some sort of way of bringing them into your email list and walking them through that process. Book promos, you can always use, a lot of times I have people on my show that have books that they're launching or have launched that we're talking about. And so an Audible would be a great thing to do if they're on Audible, but if they're not, you can always use the Amazon Associates program and get a link for their book and put that on there. And if you have your own book too, if you've written a book, anyone here written any books? You can add your podcast information into your bio on your Amazon account too, and that'll help cross-refer and cross-grow your audiences. Client attraction, again, if you have like a freebie that you can give people that they can go to so you can start to develop a relationship with them. Sponsorships we talked about, and then again, course sales. If you have an online course, it's a great place for that as well. So these are just some ways you can monetize your message. And so this is actually, I was up at the Grammy Museum in LA, and I did a special episode on my show called Taking the Show on the Road. And the reason why is because I had a little lapel mic, like this one, and I was wanting to show that you can actually do podcasting without very fancy equipment. And so this is Roger Love. He's an amazing voice coach if you ever have a chance to study with him. We're up in LA, and it's a really loud place. If you guys have ever been down to City Center, down in that area, and the Grammy Museum, and we're staying right across the street at the Lux Hotel. And I'm doing my episode holding the little lavalier mic like this, just so that people could see how easy it is to use. The microphone that I use for podcasting, I didn't start off using this because I'm a singer, and I actually I had another one that I thought would be better, but this is my favorite and what I recommend to people. I had a guy, Robbie Richmond, come on my show, and he sounded like he was talking like butter. I mean, I'm going, what are you talking on? It was amazing. And this is the little microphone. It's $79, and it's Audio-Technica 2005. A lot of people recommend the 2100, but if you go on Audio-Technica's site, this has actually got a way higher rating. So it's the Audio-Technica 2005, and I'm actually I have a download you guys can get that has all this if you need it. It's my favorite.
Is it wireless?
So the great thing about this, it's not. It comes with cables. So if anyone ever knows the industry standard, there's something called an XLR, which is the 3-prong. So if you're speaking, for example, or you're working with speakers, they can repurpose this for a wired microphone, right? Or you could if you speak as well. And there's a little connector here that will help it to automatically just plug directly into your USB port on your computer. And the beautiful thing about that is you don't need a mixer board. You don't need to manage anything except just plugging this in and making sure that it's selected in your preferences. And it's very, very affordable. So that's my favorite.
Do you not like the headset mics? Because I like that I can hear the person I'm interviewing and talk.
I wear a headset. I wear a monitor like earphones when I'm talking. If I'm doing video, I usually just wear my earbuds, even though that's not good because you really can hear a lot more if you have monitor headphones. But this quality is so good. I was actually brought a little box, but it's for a guitar, so it's not going to work. So I could let you hear it and how amazing it sounds, but the quality is better than a headset. You can get a headset for very affordable if you want to start with that. And that's also on the sheet that if you go to podcastingonpurpose.com, you can download a free studio recommendations guide, and in there I have all of there, right here. There you go. You can just go there, and it'll give you the headset, the mic, the monitors, Zoom that I recommend, all the different types of editing software, because I knew you guys would probably have a lot of questions about that. So that's there. And then And then we're going to go to the next slide. Okay, and now we're going to go 2 ahead. Okay. So one of the great things about podcasting too is that each week your episodes are pushed out for you, meaning you push publish inside of Libsyn, inside of your media host, and everything gets sent out. You don't have to do that. You set it up once and it goes out to all of the different platforms, and people get to listen to you wherever they like to listen, which is really a great thing because it's a one-time thing, and Libsyn will actually post to your social media for you too. So you can literally just publish in one place inside of the episode. And this is how you subscribe. And something you may want to do when you guys are starting to grow your show is when you're out speaking, for example, like I am, you can actually teach people how to subscribe to your show. So if you guys have an iPhone or an Android, go ahead and pull it out. And if you're on the iPhone, you can just literally open up a browser and type in sepodcast.com, and it'll open my show up inside of iTunes. Now, the way that I did this and how I would encourage you to do it if you're off speaking and you're wanting to share your show is you create a URL that forwards to your iTunes address so you can make it easy to share. So sepodcast.com is way shorter than my itunes.com / whatever that is, right? So if you open that up, you'll see then there's a little purple subscribe button, and you can go ahead and click on subscribe, and that'll subscribe you to my show. You can check it out. If you love it, you can keep it. If you don't love it, you can let it go. But that's a great way to also learn more about me. And then, yeah?
Where do you find, on iTunes, where do you find your link to your show?
When you publish, you'll get a link. They'll send it to you from iTunes.
Yeah, I have all my shows. I've got about 12 of them now. They're all on
Okay.
iTunes, but I haven't got any on iTunes. So.
Have you published iTunes already?
Yeah, it's on iTunes, but I don't know what the...
Okay. Well, you should be able to just, when you open up your show, you'll see a link in the browser, maybe, if you do it in the browser piece. But you should be able to find it in an email. We can talk about it offline. You can show me. And then on the Android, you can go to spiritualentrepreneur.com, which is my show website. And then if you click on the little RSS feed thing, it looks kind of like an antenna going out with 3 lines. You can pick the different shows you like to listen on because they're different for a lot of people who are on Android listen through different apps. Something else to note. So what do you think sounds better? Blogger of spiritualentrepreneur.com or spiritual entrepreneur blogger, spiritual entrepreneur YouTuber, or host of the Spiritual Entrepreneur podcast? Yeah. Okay, significant, right? Kind of significantly different. So the beautiful thing about being the host of a show is it elevates you somehow automatically to be able to go and have access to other things. And you can put this in your media sheets. If you're wanting to speak, or you're wanting to go and meet with certain companies, or you're wanting to connect with different clients, you want to make sure that you have those words, host of XYZ podcast, in all of your media documentation. It's really, I believe, equivalent to having a long-time speaking career or being a published author. It's got the same kind of weight to it. Some more of what I love about podcasting, just personally, is it gives you the ability to really just be yourself and authentically be you. You're not trying to fit into someone else's show format. It's your own show. You get to say how you want it to go. The content can be repurposed, as we talked about. And the other thing that I love is for audio podcasts, you don't have to be camera ready. I do most of mine in my pajamas or my yoga pants. My hair's up in a ponytail. My cat's hanging out in a box in the hall. Like, it's just very relaxed, where you wouldn't be talking to these people dressed like that normally, but you can be very comfortable.
And I've done YouTube, and you're always worried about, like, how do I look? For the dad?
Yeah.
You can't think because you're like, oh my God, terrible. I like that. They don't see people.
The lighting is that's so much easier. So I've had a lot of requests from people to ask me how to do podcasting, and I have friends and people that I've met, and I can't help everybody, so I created an online course. Is it okay if I tell you guys about it? Okay. So Podcast on Purpose, not podcasting on purpose, but Podcast on Purpose, it's a complete online training course, and basically it takes you from an idea of your show all the way to a published and syndicated show within 6 weeks. It basically gives you the global platform we've been talking about. And so who here's a speaker? I have a speaker coach and speaker. Okay, awesome. How about entrepreneurs? Seems like most people. Thought leaders?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay. Creatives, I saw a few hands go up for that. Yeah. All right, so anyone who, or any of the above, and some of us are all of the above, it's a fantastic platform for getting your message out and sharing it. And the thing that I love is about really sharing your message and purpose on a podcast. So this basically gives you that global platform. These are just some of the things I talk about in the course. Your message, your audience, using this in congruence with your brand, the show format that you want to have, where we talked about the different types of show formats, the recording process, platforms that you can choose from, the editing process, how to find your ideal guests, outsourcing and how you can outsource the pieces you don't want to do, some of my scheduling hacks that we're talking about with Acuity scheduling, guest nominations, creating your podcast bumper, monetizing your podcast. There's a whole bunch of different things that I teach inside of the podcast course, but I do it in a way that's really systematized to take you from the idea to published and syndicated platform. So what makes my course a little bit different from other people's courses on podcasting is I'm far enough ahead of everyone to kind of guide you, but I'm not too far ahead to lose you. A lot of the people that teach podcasting have been doing it a really long time. I'm at 113 episodes, so I definitely have it under my belt, and I'm not at 1,000 episodes where you might actually feel like I can't quite get there. So that's one of the things that makes mine different, and I'm really about podcasting on purpose. So for me, it's really about launching people's messages and their missions into the world on a global platform. That's what lights me up. I've had to learn how to share the voice of my own soul through the work that I do, and it's been a journey for me. And I like to help other people do the same thing in a profitable business on a profitable platform. And I also utilize my extensive coaching background to make sure people get through to where they need to be from working with Tony and on my own. And we've launched a bunch of great shows through the course. The wine podcasters are fun. I was just up in Seattle, and they were saying that they're actually monetizing and getting cases of wine with their wine shows. And yeah, they're really loving that one. And then some of the graduates that I've had, this woman actually had a funny story. She basically says, first of all, I love Debbie. She's very encouraging and motivating as you go through the process. I love her for saying that. Her course is so detailed and user-friendly, anyone could launch a podcast if they're so inclined. So this lady is actually in direct marketing, and she was at an event, and evidently someone came up to her and she's like, oh my God, are you Jerry Taylor Swade? And she's like, well, yes, I am. And she's like, I recognize you from your voice. I listen to your podcast all the time. You would never think that you would actually be recognized by your voice, right? You think you'd be recognized by maybe how you look or how you dress or something. And this is a good friend of mine now, Wade. He has the 4-Day Workweek podcast. And he had actually taken 2 other podcasting courses previously and hadn't launched. And so he wanted just to talk about how this was a little bit different. He said he had failed to implement because there were too many steps, unclear priorities, and too few directives in the other courses. But he says, I helped to clarify your why and vision for your podcast, create a simple, detailed, achievable path to launch, and get the peer group support, because we do have a community that we do this with. And then Mary, she also talked about how she didn't even know she wanted to do a podcast before we connected. She has the Keeper of the Keys podcast. And something that was really fun for me was to be able to share with some other graduates, have them on my show and be on their shows as well, which has been really delightful for me. So you could either go to broadcasting school and spend like $13,000 a year to learn how to create your podcast, right? Or you could hire a coach or consultant. They typically charge $5,000 to $10,000 to set it up. Or you could set up your own stage. You know, you probably know it's pretty expensive to create a stage every week with the amount of people you want to have listening, right? And you can try to learn on your own like I did, which, let me tell you, that wasn't the easiest process. And how much is your time worth, really? Or you can take my online course. The course is valued at $19.97. But for you guys, if you wanted to sign up through Boost Biz Ed, I'm doing a very special offer of $6.97 for you guys, or 2 payments of $3.97. If it's something that you're really wanting to do, I'd love to support you. This is just a quick sneak peek of what it looks like inside of the course, if I can get it to go. This is the online system, so you can kind of get a feel for the different modules and what that looks like.
And I'm a graduate, everybody. Best thing I've ever done.
Oh, thank you.
So good. So easy.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying that. And yeah.
One thing that I feel like is very intimidating about this whole process is the idea of I need to be an absolute expert on the subject matter. Do you find that people can be successful if they have a passion and an interest, but maybe aren't, don't have the years of experience. For example, your wine people. I don't know if they have degrees in wine or if they just have an interest in wine.
They love wine.
Is it okay to kind of learn as you go on the subject matter?
Yeah.
And develop an expertise as you process the show?
Perfect question. And actually doing a podcast helps to establish you as an expert. You don't always start off as an expert, but the more that you talk to people every week on the subject matter, the more that you're out there sharing your message, the more that you become the host of that podcast, it establishes you more as an expert. I didn't start off really knowing how to talk about spiritual entrepreneurship. I didn't. But I learned a heck of a lot interviewing people every week and then looking at, well, what is it that I actually do with my coaching clients and how could I talk more clearly about that? So it helps you, I feel like, develop your expertise and also establish yourself as an expert. It's a great question.
It also helps you as a speaker.
Yeah,
I
significantly.
Think you're such a better speaker.
Isn't it about too, just about being engaging, being authentic, different than somebody else when people speak?
Yeah.
Relate what you feel?
Exactly, yeah. Just sharing your truth, and it's a beautiful place to do it where you can do it freely. So I'm just going to run through this quickly because I know we're bumping up against some time. You get lifetime access. This is something I might be charging for down the road, but right now I'm giving everyone here, if you want to do it, lifetime access to our private online community, which I'm planning to charge eventually for $79 a month for. We do 6 live office hours, so we can sit down and go through live if you have questions as a group. Copy and paste email templates. I took a lot of time to systematize the communication piece, and I have them all set up in Google Canned Responses. I've included them in this course so that you can just copy, paste, and modify for you. I also do a video tutorial on what to do when you're congested. I was real sick one day and I thought I'd teach some of Roger Love's techniques. So that's in there. And if you think about it, if you had 100 listeners actually, and you had a product that's selling at $9.97 with a 2% conversion rate, it's a pretty big savings. It shouldn't say guests, it should say listeners. And then there's a video tutorial on how to put your scheduling on autopilot. So that's the Acuity system. I teach you how to do that. And so those are our total bonuses for the offer I'm doing for you guys. And I also wanted to do some fast action bonuses. If anyone wants to sign up today, I'm going to give the first 5 to register a private podcast consultation with me. And we'll set everything up for what you need to be successful. And then 3 lucky draw winners throughout whoever, you have to publish your show, but whoever publishes your show, I'm going to give you a shout out on my podcast about your podcast. And then a surprise bonus for those of you who have concerns about your voice. Anyone who, I don't like the way my voice sounds, I don't know any of that kind of conversation going on. You all sound like you have great voices, but if you have that, I have also put together a special video to teach you how to be vocally attractive, which you can use in other areas. And if you're already using video, I talk about how you can repurpose your video for an audio podcast. And I have a 30-day money-back guarantee. And just to recap, that's what you get. You get the whole Podcast on Purpose Online Academy, the Facebook group, 6 live office hours, copy and paste sample emails, video trainings, and the fast action bonuses too. Of the first 5 to register, getting that strategic planning session with me, and then a shout out for 3 lucky draw winners. So the online course value plus the bonus value is $11,415, but that's the deal for you guys today. If you want it, you're welcome to sign up and join me. I'd love to support you if you have a message and a mission that's pushing on you, you want to get out. So all I want to leave you with today is just to remember there's a reason that you're here right now. The people that you're meant to serve are waiting for you. They're waiting for you to fully share your message on a global scale. And I truly believe that when we show up to a place where we are kind of drawn to it, that there's typically a reason why we're meant to be there and at that time, in that moment, in our world. So I just want to thank you for spending this special time with me, and I look forward to continuing the journey with you. I'd love to hear more about your shows. It's exciting. And and if you're online and you want to sign up, you can go to spiritualentrepreneur.com/boost for Boost Biz Ed. And we actually have some order forms. If anyone wants one, you're welcome to grab one. We'll have them up front.
Is that deal for people watching online right
Yes.
now too? Okay.
If you're watching online, that's for you too. Okay. So thank you all for being here. I really honor you for showing up today. And it's your time to podcast on purpose, just saying. Okay. Have a great rest of your day.
Enjoy that. Thank you. So again, the link to sign up is this spiritualentrepreneur.com/boost. And I recommend being one of the first 5 to get with Debbie. Again, she's my mentor. And I learned so much. It was so easy, and we just got it done. That's right, we did. So we are going to quickly go over upcoming events and offers from our allies. I'm going to start by saying that I'm actually the speaker for August 16th. And my presentation is going to be on the mastery of event-based marketing. I do a lot of different things with regards to visibility, but event-based marketing is really my area of expertise. And I'm going to be sharing all of the tips on how you can fill your events, get visible, and make money with live events and online events. And I have a lot of things to teach. I'm really excited. People have been asking for this presentation for a while, so I'm finally doing it. And my offer, thank you. My offer is, did some of you pay to get in here today, I believe? Please join the Conscious Business Chamber of Commerce. Go to consciousbusinesschamber.com and just join. Basic membership is only $10 a month. For more visibility, I highly recommend the $35 a month, but then you can always come to Boost Biz Ed for free and other things. It's only $10 a month. We work really, really hard to provide education for people, so give me $10 a month, guys. That's my offer. And of course, I would love for you to come and hear me speak next month for free, as well as all of you who are listening. And next we have Miss Joanne Chen, who will share her offer. Thank you.
So really quickly, I know we're short on time. My name is Joanne Chen. I'm a self-leadership coach. What I do is help ambitious, stressed, busy people to get clarity and confidence in what they do and bring their power into the world in whatever creative endeavors that they have. And my offer today is just, if you're interested in finding clarity, feel more balanced, just come talk to me. We can set up a time. And if you know somebody that fits that profile of busy, ambitious, stressed, please have them talk to me too, and I'll take good care of them. Thank you.
Not used to holding the wired mic. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cornelius. I'm with Live Streaming Video Pro. I'm the media ally here for Boost Biz Ed San Diego. And what I do through my business here, I help small businesses and entrepreneurs get their message out using video. So whether you're a speaker, looking for a speaker reel, or you have a program that you're offering, looking for some sales video to go on your landing page, anything of that nature, I use video to help communicate your message so you can increase your brand awareness and get seen and increase your bottom line, right, yourself. So if you're interested in knowing more about what I do, just reach out to me here on Facebook, or just come back in the back and I'll give you my business card. Cornelius Simon, Live Streaming Video Pro. Thank you.
All right, everybody, thank you for attending today. Thank you, everybody on Facebook Live. For upcoming events, please go to consciousbusinesschamber.com and click on events, and we'll see you all on August 16th. Thank you.
Are you looking for a business networking event where you can learn more, connect better, and have your business be seen and heard by many? Are you ready to learn how you can take action a day in order to improve your business? If so, then join the next Boost Biz Ed San Diego event, which takes place at 11:30 on the third Thursday of each month at Spaces in La Jolla, UTC. Our event on August 16th features Sarah Andordel, who will be presenting on the mastery of event-based marketing. You, as our guest, will learn expert tips on how to maximize visibility and especially profitability for your business through both live and online events. Get ready to learn and get ready for your business to be seen via our live stream that takes place during the event. Tickets are available at boostbized.com or by visiting the events page at consciousbusinesschamber.com.